It's time to keep victimhood out of the family courts. It now seems well documented that our society is increasingly heading towards a popular culture of victimhood. After all, if you can't claim to be a victim of something because you've been offended, suffered, or been hurt, then clearly you can't be a very interesting person, because being negative and defeatist is clearly the only way to get attention and status in the growing self-indulgent victimhood circles that people now love to be part of. So what's the problem with that? Well, the big problem is that I see victimhood now flooding into the family courts and bringing it to its knees. The relentless pressures of trying to manage parents' emotional wars is something the courts can't and shouldn't have to cope with. And the most worrying aspect of all is, of course, the forgotten children caught in the middle, being emotionally harmed by the parents. So let's have that debate, and let me tell you my answer to the problem. I am Philip Kedge, a retired police chief inspector and director of the McKenzie Friend UK network. I have been a McKenzie Friend for a decade and founded the national campaign of #LikeNotHate. If you would like the assistance of a McKenzie Friend, because honestly, you don't need lawyers, or you would like to become a McKenzie Friend, please visit likenotHate.co.uk and subscribe to my YouTube channel. In my blogs, my views and opinions are entirely my own. We know as a fact, because the Judiciary recently told us, that at least 40% of family court cases should never actually be in court. In my mind, the only reason they are is because of parents behaving like juveniles and failing to get a grip of their emotions and being incapable of behaving like adults for the sake of their poor innocent children. Now the problem is that we have adults behaving like juveniles, whilst at the same time we have this new victimhood culture. And when these two forces come together, the plot really starts getting lost, and the courts and services simply can't cope. Now let me make it clear, I am only talking about this 40% group as identified by the Judiciary itself. I am not talking about those who should be in the family court system with genuine and at times serious safeguarding issues. So please don't take this blog out of that context. So what's going on? Well, when two people who once upon a time may have loved each other have experienced a miracle of having children together, who may have once expressed their eternal desires for each other, now arrive at the end of that romantic journey. And by its very human nature, that now turns to hurt emotions, suffering, upset, anxieties, dislike, distrust, as that fine line between love and hate gets crossed. Now combine that very real and raw emotional reality of separation with the new norm of victimhood, and you have all the conditions for a perfect storm. Indeed, it may start off as a small storm, but in this mad culture of negativity, sympathy seeking, blaming, drama creating, telling tales, degrading the other parent, name calling, gossiping, labelling, demonising, and the new social competition as to who has suffered the most, that storm very quickly grows into a tornado. in the wake of uncontrollable emotions or irrational thinking, simply gets blown away, with parents focused only on promoting their own sense of suffering and self-importance, with the children's needs being totally lost. Each parent draws their swords and proclaims themselves as the rightful protector of the children, vowing to fight to the death before they give an inch to the other parent. Please go to mediation is the plea from the courts. However, even mediation isn't going to be able to tame an emotionally fueled tornado. Mediation requires people to engage their brains, to put aside their differences, and to extend olive branches to each other, to be kind, to understand and be sympathetic to each other's needs, and the needs of the children that they brought into the world. At the very least, you have to agree to arrive in the same room or Zoom meeting together so that you can start talking. With mediation, sadly, all too often doomed to fail, these parents then take their war into the courts, with a brand new problem and destructive force added. The family lawyers, who are not only looking for conflict, they want to throw more fuel onto the fire. They don't want this to end. For them, this is just the beginning. They are going to take this conflict to whole new levels. These parents who the court view as undermining and abusing the family court system also frequently phone me up wanting to take an hour out of my precious life, trying to engage me in their victimhood dramas. Fortunately, however, they don't get very far, because as a retired police chief inspector and many years as a critical incident commander, I'm known to be quite robust. You see, I'm not a counsellor or therapist or a sounding board for hurt feelings. Instead, what I have been successfully doing over the last 10 years is to unemotionally and pragmatically help steer people away from family court. Secondly, I help those who are already in family court but shouldn't be, and guide them to find a sensible way out of it, usually with signposting to mediation and hopefully agreed final orders or consent orders. Thirdly, I've spent a decade supporting those who genuinely need to be in family court and have helped them through that process at a fraction of the cost of totally unnecessary and all too often completely unhelpful family lawyers. So what is my advice and solution to those who are going through family court child arrangements, who are now part of the 40% who need to get a grip on their emotions and should never be putting an application into court? Well, it's actually very simple. The standard order for child arrangements is for a child to spend time with a non-resident parent every other weekend from Friday to Sunday, an additional midweek from the Wednesday to the Thursday when there is no weekend contact, and half of all the holidays. To arrive at this position, all you have to do is to take a solutions-based approach and bury the hatchet of hurt feelings. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Take the positives from the relationship you had accept that almost 50% of long-term relationships fail, so why should you be the lucky ones? Think positively about the miracle of having beautiful children. Keep your self-respect and dignity intact. Reject being a victim. Agree not to go to court, and adopt something similar to the very normal child arrangements pattern as soon after separation as possible. After that, you can both get on with your new lives as much happier individuals, where others actually enjoy your company rather than pretending to, with the additional blessing and knowledge that you have saved your children from a bleak future of mental health issues and therapy. If you need help moving forward with your child arrangements, please contact me right now at lightnothate.co.uk.